I finally achieved my dream of owning a home at 28, something I worked incredibly hard for, given my modest background. My wife Amanda and I were building a beautiful life together, putting in countless hours renovating our little fixer-upper into something special. But nothing prepared me for what happened next. My own family, the people who should have been proudest of my accomplishments, sued me for my house, claiming it rightfully belonged to my younger brother Jackson. And just when I thought things could not possibly get worse, they kidnapped my pregnant wife. Before I tell you how my own parents tried to destroy my life, let me know where you are watching from in the comments, and click that subscribe button if family drama stories help you feel better about your own situation. I grew up in a middle-class neighborhood in suburban Connecticut, the oldest of 2 boys in the Thomas family. From my earliest memories, I understood my role was to be the responsible one, the example setter, the child who never caused trouble. My brother Jackson came along when I was 4, and from the moment he arrived, the family dynamic shifted in ways I was too young to understand at first. My father Thomas built a successful construction supply business from the ground up. He was proud, hard-working, and had clear expectations for his sons. My mother Elaine had been a local beauty queen in her youth and never quite let go of her social ambitions. She was constantly concerned with appearances and how our family was perceived in the community. As we grew up, the differences in how Jackson and I were treated became impossible to ignore. When I needed new clothes for school, I often got hand-me-downs or bargain items, while Jackson received brand new name, brand everything. My mother would justify it by saying, "Jackson is more sensitive about these things. Hugo, you are so practical, you understand." In school, I was expected to bring home straight A's. A/B on a report card meant being grounded and extra study time. Meanwhile, Jackson struggled academically, rarely bringing home anything better than C's, but my parents would shrug it off. "He is just creative. Not everyone is book smart like you," they would tell me, as if my academic success was somehow a character flaw that made me less interesting. By high school, I realized that if I wanted any independence, I would need to create it for myself. I started working multiple jobs after school and on weekends. I mowed lawns, washed dishes at a local restaurant, and stocked shelves at the grocery store. My parents criticized me for neglecting family time, but I was saving every penny I could. When college application time came around, I earned several scholarships to the state university based on my grades and community service. I still needed to work throughout college to cover living expenses, but I was proud to be making my own way. Jackson, on the other hand, barely graduated high school with a C average, yet my parents paid for him to attend an expensive private college, insisting he needed the right environment to thrive. They even bought him a car so he would not have to work during his studies. Those years shaped me in ways I am actually grateful for now. I learned self-reliance, budgeting, and determination. I discovered that validation from my parents was something I would never receive, so I stopped seeking it. I built my own life based on my own values, not theirs. During my final year of college, I met Amanda at the coffee shop where I worked morning shifts. She came in every Tuesday and Thursday before her nursing classes, always ordering the same thing, a large black coffee and a blueberry muffin. After weeks of casual conversation across the counter, I finally worked up the courage to ask her out. What started as coffee dates between classes blossomed into something beautiful. Amanda understood me in ways no one ever had before. She came from a working-class family herself and shared my values about hard work and building a future through effort rather than handouts. She never made me feel inadequate for not having the newest things or the fanciest car. Instead, she appreciated my ambition and plans for the future. After graduation, I landed an entry-level position at a financial services company. The pay was modest, but there was room for growth. I continued working side hustles on weekends now, with a specific goal in mind, saving for a house. Amanda and I moved into a tiny apartment together, both working long hours and saving every extra dollar. 2 years later, I founded a small three-bedroom house in a decent neighborhood that needed significant work but had good bones. The price was right because of the renovation needs, and I knew between my construction knowledge from summer jobs and Amanda's eye for design, we could transform it into something special. When our offer was accepted, it was one of the proudest moments of my life. At 28, I had achieved what my father had always held up as the American dream homeownership. Amanda and I got married in a small, intimate ceremony with just close friends and a few family members present. And just when I thought things could not possibly get worse, they kidnapped my pregnant wife. Before I tell you how my own parents tried to destroy my life, let me know where you are watching from in the comments, and click that subscribe button if family drama stories help you feel better about your own situation. I grew up in a middle-class neighborhood in suburban Connecticut, the oldest of two boys in the Thomas family. We worked every evening after our day jobs and spent weekends tearing down walls, refinishing hardwood floors, and updating the kitchen and bathrooms. I did most of the structural work myself with occasional help from friends when I needed extra hands. Amanda became an expert at finding quality materials at discount prices. Slowly but surely, our fixer-upper transformed into a beautiful home that reflected our hard work and vision. My parents complained throughout the planning process that it was not grand enough, that people would think we could not afford better, but we stood firm. We wanted to start our marriage without debt, focusing on building our future rather than impressing others for a single day. The next 2 years were filled with renovation projects on our house. There was the luxury dog walking service that never attracted customers, the custom t-shirt company that delivered poor quality products, and the food delivery app that never made it past the planning stage. With each failure, my parents would simply say, "At least he is trying new things," and open their checkbook for the next idea. I continued focusing on my own life. I earned a significant promotion at work, and Amanda was advancing in her nursing career. Our renovated home had increased substantially in value, building our equity and financial security. We were living proof that hard work and careful planning could lead to success even without family support. Sunday dinners at my parents' house became increasingly uncomfortable affairs. What started as a monthly tradition turned into an exercise in comparison and criticism. My mother would fawn over Jackson and his girlfriend Stephanie, making sure everyone knew about his latest business idea, while peppering me with questions about when I would consider a real career instead of pushing papers at that company. The fact that I had steadily built a respectable position in finance meant nothing compared to Jackson's entrepreneurial spirit. The first major incident occurred during one of these Sunday dinners. Jackson announced that he and Stephanie were engaged, which was met with tears of joy and champagne toasts from my parents. As the celebration continued, my mother turned to me and said, "Now they will need somewhere nice to live. Your house would be perfect for them, you know." I nearly choked on my drink. "What do you mean Amanda and I live in our house?" She waved her hand dismissively. "Well, you two could find another place. You are established now." Meanwhile, Jackson graduated with mediocre grades and predictably no job prospects. My parents did not seem concerned, telling family members that he was exploring his options and finding his path. He moved back into my childhood home, living rent-free while supposedly applying for jobs. Over the next year, my parents funded several of Jackson's business ventures, none of which lasted longer than a few months. We have put thousands of hours of our own labor into renovating it. My mother's expression hardened. "Well, we raised you, put food in your mouth, and clothes on your back. Everything you have built started with what we gave you." The conversation deteriorated from there. Jackson sat silently, looking uncomfortable, but not contradicting our parents. Stephanie, however, jumped right in, talking about how she had already been thinking about paint colors for their house, and how the spare bedroom would make a perfect nursery. Amanda, normally diplomatic to a fault, finally spoke up. "I am sorry, but that house is our home. We have put our hearts into it. We are not giving it up." The tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. My father finally broke the silence with an ultimatum. "Either help your brother start his life properly, or do not consider yourself part of this family anymore." We left shortly after with Amanda, in tears, and me in shock. Over the following weeks, the pressure continued via texts, calls, and even ambushes at our workplace. We made the painful decision to limit contact with my family, focusing instead on our careers and marriage. For several months, we had minimal communication with my parents and Jackson. We declined Sunday dinners, citing work commitments. We sent polite but brief responses to text messages. It was difficult, but the distance gave us peace. Then came Jackson's wedding. Despite the tension, we decided to attend. The ceremony was lavish, clearly costing my parents a small fortune. We have put thousands of hours of our own labor into renovating it. My mother's expression hardened. "Well, we raised you, put food in your mouth, and clothes on your back. Everything you have built started with what we gave you." The conversation deteriorated from there. Jackson sat silently, looking uncomfortable, but not contradicting our parents. He made a point of looking directly at me while emphasizing how family supports family without reservation. I felt simultaneously relieved that the housing issue was apparently resolved and hurt by the public rebuke. For about 6 months after Jackson's wedding, life was relatively peaceful. We maintained minimal contact with my family, exchanging occasional text messages and seeing them only at major holidays. I threw myself into work, earning another promotion, while Amanda advanced to a supervisory position at the hospital. We began discussing starting a family of our own, feeling secure in our careers and home. Then, on an ordinary Tuesday, I received a certified letter that would change everything. Inside was a legal summons. My parents and brother were suing me for ownership of our house.